Hello everyone and welcome to the Indianapolis Raceway Park for the third race of the Crown Royal Truck Series Chase. We're here for the Kroger 300 at IRP. Austin Johnson, chase contender who has had a horrible chase run so far, sits 58 points back from points leader Matthew Eaves. He needs pretty much to win this race with a bad Eaves day to salvage anything in this chase hunt. He rolls off on pole. Alongside him is Peter Onjak, looking to get himself back into victory lane and try to get one more win for CFRO before they close at the end of the year. A driver looking for one more win, though, is Eli Bright, who is retiring at the end of the season, only has a handful of races left to get this 8 truck into victory lane. Last week at Richmond, he almost got it into victory lane, having a dominant truck all day until Eaves caught him. We'll see what this 8 truck can do today, starting third. Ryan Butcher, a chase contender, rolls off fourth. Alex Fletcher, who almost won Nashville earlier this season, has some short track pace, rolls off in fifth. Points leader Matthew Eaves in the NRG number 48 will roll off in sixth. He's the points leader with his rivals in the standings. Antoine Smith, Riley Spurleytube, Alex Peters, Eric Monaco. That's your top 5, all starting 20th or worse today. Vince Freeze and Stephen Wallace Jr. make up row 4. SWJ looking to be a dark horse in this championship fight. He's 44 back. Logan Bradley in his final season as well, trying to get himself one more victory to see if he will not be a one-win wonder in the NSDCA. He rolls off 9th. And Gatlin Downey, who has never won an NSDCA event, rolls off in 10th for Rockstar Energy Racing. Sebastian Kuklon's in the 82 truck today. We'll see if he helps out that 48 and 00 working their way through the field. Turner, and look at Zachary Fitzwater in what could be Ford Performance Racing's final race. As well, Fitzwater is contracted to the team. There is no idea if he will even finish his campaign this year, with Ford Performance Racing reportedly going bankrupt here entering this IRP weekend. Larry Hagan, your Mosport winner, Pri McShane for Rockstar Energy Racing. There is Alex Peters. He rolls off 21st today in that 45. Antoine Smith rolls off 24th. Give a shout out, though, to Mike Cook, 23rd. A strong qualifying run for him. But those two chase contenders, big fighters in the point standings, sit 6 points back with Antoine and 19 back with Alex Peters. They start very far behind Matthew Eaves today. Continuing your way back, Daniel Kobza in the 44 is rolling off very far back. He rolls off 32nd. You also got Riley Spurleytube, who had a horrible qualifying run. He rolls off, though, 35th, as we had 3 trucks fail post-qualifying inspection. 2 of them, your chase contenders. Jose Perez, who sits 9th in points, 53 back. He needs a miracle today. Roger Ray in the 84, not a championship contender, part-time in the truck series. And the 4 of Eric Monaco, who only sits 23 back in 5th. That is a big change right there that could see many chase contenders having to fight their way through the field. One thing to point out about Roger Ray in this 84, they have announced a partnership with Pedal to Metal Racing. They will be receiving the 91 truck that the P2M team used to run in the truck series last season, and they will be swapping to GMC Chevrolet in the GM department of the NSDCA. But no matter what, we're getting ready to go racing. It's 80 laps here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Another short track on the schedule, a new one. We'll see how it races in the chase today. Austin Johnson, Peter Onjak getting ready to lead this field of 40 down to the green flag. Let's go down trackside with the commands to fire the engines here at the Kroger 300.
Drivers, start your engines!
With that, the engines are fired. We're rolling off for these 80 laps here at the Kroger 300 at IRP. Austin Johnson, Peter Onjak on the front row. Johnson trying to get himself into victory lane. He's already a race behind the points leader Matthew Eaves after only 2 races in the chase, with a crash out at Mosport and a rough race at Richmond. 77 team looking to rebound, possibly take home a victory. Most of the top 5 in points except Eaves all start behind the 21st position or worse in this field. Eaves is joined by guys 6th, 7th, and 10th in the standings up here in the top 10 with Butcher, Austin Johnson, and Stephen Wallace Jr. Kobza Perez also at the back of the grid. Coming on down the front straightaway, or coming down to the front straightaway, is Austin Johnson and Peter Onjak leading this field down. Eli Bright, Logan Bradley, and their final starts. Well, their one and only start here at IRP as they retire at the end of the season. Can they sneak a win today? Johnson and Onjak want to make that not happen as they come down and take the green flag. We're racing at Indianapolis. Austin Johnson pulls out into the lead. You see Alex Fletcher really holding up that entire inside line as Eli Bright's going to go for it there in that 8 truck. 2 wide can work, 3 wide will not. You'll see a lot of crashes going 3 wide here today, I think, as Vince Freeze turned sideways coming off the corner in the 60 as he kept it clean, kept it safe as they head down into turn 1. Field of 40 still rolling, but further back, there is the 3 wide racing with a championship contender in Daniel Kobza in it. Now, as the rest of the field tries to get through, Cody Goforth going to get turned into the inside wall. John Dilks back up the track, tries to keep it off of everyone else. He does. Spurley to Perez. Patrick Smith is in the wall. No caution for it as Cody Goforth went spinning. Johnson, though, out in front. Onjak second, side by side for 4th between SWJ and Butcher, as Butcher kind of slides up the track. Now Onjak, as they race through a cloud of dust, is going to look for the race lead on Austin Johnson. We'll see if CFRO can go off with one more truck win to their name, as Eli Bright is hunting both of these guys down. Top 3 under a blanket here. 3 laps into this one, as it looked like Bright and Onjak made some contact there. Look at Eaves sliding up underneath Ryan Butcher. And looking the rest of the way through, there's Antoine Smith. Big crit for Brad Stover. Oh my gosh. As the 24 goes flying into the outside wall. Oh, Colton Yos and Christian Vargas are going to make contact down there. And we're under caution for the first time today. Zach Rogers trying to keep it clean. Gatlin Downey as well. And it looked like Stover's truck just came to a complete halt into turn 1. And that is a vicious hit for Brad Stover there in that 24. As the field's going to line themselves back up as we will get ready for a restart. But Stover, Colton Yos out of this one. Vargas involved. Cody Goforth had that spin earlier. Now we'll see as the field comes on down. Matthew Brown is going to bring the 16 truck down pit road. He might have some damage from that. Looks like Goforth, Vargas, and Roger Ray are all bringing their trucks down pit road. Everyone else staying out, so get a quick replay of whatever happened in turn 1. First into the day is a bit of a big one. Daniel Kobza, Brad Stover getting together off the corner is going to send Stover into Vargas. The 08 goes turning. 24 is losing control, trying to keep it on track, and is going to go right into the 11, stuck in the wall, and a big hit to Brad Stover. He has gotten out of his truck. He is okay. Colton Yeo further back, though. Just trying to get through this. Almost made it through it if Stover didn't just swing up from the apron. Big hit to both of those trucks. They're going to be done, but that's not all for Colton as he tries to get back down, tries to clear everything, and Vargas is going to collide with him. First caution of the day here at IRP. Lights on the pace truck went out that time by. The Kroger 300 back live. Austin Johnson leads over Eli Bright, Peter Onjak, Stephen Wallace Jr., Matthew Eaves, your top 5 with Ryan Butcher, Alex Fletcher, Logan Bradley, Zach Rogers, Jesse Turner in your top 10. 3 trucks out of this one. Colton Lane, an engine failure under caution, takes him out. Your Chase contenders also sit 16th and 18th with Peters and Antoine Smith. Kobza up to 22nd. Riley Spurley-Tube up to 27th. Monaco 29th. Perez 31st. This field continues on. Austin Johnson leading them back down, though, with Bright and Onjak both winless this season and won races last year, so those two know how to get it done. We'll see if they can do it today with Austin Johnson, another winless driver this season in the race lead. Green flags back in the air, and we're back racing here at IRP, looking to see if these guys keep it clean coming down this front straightaway this time. They do. We'll see what it looks like as they come out of the corner now, as Bright is going after Austin Johnson for the race lead. Bright wants his final win in his final season as he sends it to the inside of Austin Johnson, looking for that race lead. Onjak looking to the inside of Stephen Wallace Jr. As they come off the corner, Bright will lead that lap, so he'll get another lap led at least, and he will try to clear Johnson into the corner. The 2 camo trucks with Bass Pro Shops and Realtree out in front, as they're still side by side for that top spot down the back straightaway. CFRO behind him, fighting hard. Stephen Wallace Jr. needs those points, but Onjak wants to get him a win, but SWJ could still win this race too. They both look like they have the pace, but Eli Bright's going to be the one clear into the lead. Looking at the back now, a lot of cars, slower cars at the back. You got Monaco, Spurley-Tube, Perez trying to pick their way through the field, as well Daniel Kobza, Antoine Smith, as this front pack is all formed together. Johnson back to the bottom on Bright, top 5. Top 10 really under a blanket. All the way back to Downey is where you don't even see a real big gap. Now a gap's going to form between the top 6. But that is 4 Chase contenders with Onjak and Bright in this top group, some of the best drivers from last season in the Truck Series as well. Austin Johnson's clear back into the lead as Onjak wants to get himself back up there, and Butcher's trying to stay ahead of Matthew Eaves in that 48 truck. Bright clear to second. Onjak now fighting Stephen Wallace Jr. for third. These two have been side by side for a long time, and being side by side really costs you a ton of time. That's why there's not a lot of passing being done here, because you need to really stay single file to get any moves done, get any speed done. But once you get single file here, like it looks now, you're going to start being able to make actual moves. As you see back there, there's Antoine Smith now picking up a spot on Vince Freeze. There you see Kobza, Spurley Tube, Monaco. Now that these guys in front of him have kind of thinned out a little bit, you might start being able to see these guys at the back start to pick up some spots in Spurley Tube, Monaco, and Jose Perez, as well as Daniel Kobza back there. Top three still under a blanket. Stephen Wallace Jr. pushing Eli Bright into the corner, as these top three are not giving up, not giving an inch. Johnson using the outside, Bright on the inside. He used the inside to get around him the first time. That's going to bring Onjak back into the mix with Butcher. And look at Gatlin Downey clearing Matthew Eaves now as Eaves sends it in. Teammate to Eaves and TSR Zach Rogers, putting all three TSR trucks in the top 10 right now. As Onjak's fighting Eli Bright, there's Stephen Wallace Jr., Ryan Butcher back there for the fourth position. Butcher's going to take that spot from SWJ. That truck seems to be failing in that 98 truck. But now Johnson is out to the lead. He gets to kind of run on his own as Butcher and SWJ fight behind him. Now Fletcher and Downey going at it for that sixth position here as they come through the corner. And down the back straightaway they go, side by side. Onjak looking back to the bottom on Bright. We'll go out to the wider angle shot so you can see all the battles going on. And just like that, they dissipate as Onjak's the one fighting still to the inside of Bright. Not going to happen. Pretty much top 14, top 12, 13, top 13 single file. Alex Peters clear to 14th. Antoine Smith up to 16th. Kobza breaking his way into the top 20. And no, that's still green. Spurley Tube's now dispatched a couple more of the trucks, so he's up to 21st. This 28 might still have a shot at the top 10 today, 18 laps in. You see Monaco now taking a move to the outside of McShane and Sanford as Perez is fighting back there. Got Antoine Smith there. There's Eaves. That 48 truck seems to be kind of fading there for TSR. He's kind of fallen all the way back to 7th now and could lose 7th to Alex Fletcher. You got Rogers, Bradley, Turner, and Hagan right behind him as well as Eaves is struggling into traffic back here. Top three, though, have convened back together. Yellow flag is back out on the racetrack, and it's many trucks, including Jose Perez, involved. And we're under caution for the second time today at IRP. And that one is big. Championship Chase contender Jose Perez. He qualified this truck third, but failed in post-qualifying inspection. Had to start from the rear. And that might have just cost Perez a shot at the championship right there. Doesn't look like damage on the 35, but see the whole field now is bringing it down pit road. We did see there might be Colton Yost staying out, or Patrick Smith staying out, and Smith will in that 94. So that's going to shake this field up. But here they come down pit road, and this will be their round of pit stops. We'll see maybe some of those guys at the back could jump some of the slower trucks on pit road, pick up some even more spots. So we might see some gains on pit road here. But what did I expect? It's 20 laps in. I don't think they can make it to the end pitting on 20 laps, but they might be able to. Of course, this is the first race. We don't know how these strategies for the pit crews will go. But Austin Johnson's going to lead the field back out. Onjak, a slow pit stop in the 97. He's going to lose a ton of time in that truck. Vince Freeze as well. A slow stop on him. There you see Alex Peters as Eaves fell back. Cobbs is going to gain a few. Spurley Tube, I think, jumps the 67. Monaco picks up a few spots. So some of those guys on pit road picking up some time here at IRP. Bring you guys back to the action here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park right after this. Second caution of the day involves a championship contender and Jose Perez. The 35 truck started at the back after failing post-qualifying inspection. He's going to get in this one, pitching it 3 wide with Anderson Reed. Mike Cook did not know they were up there. Also some contact by the 71 of John Dilks in that incident as well. Second caution of the day here at IRP. Back live here at IRP, and we have had 2 more trucks go behind the wall as well. A lot of guys came down to top off under this extended caution period. Patrick Smith has not pit yet. He leads over Austin Johnson, Eli Bright, Ryan Butcher, Stephen Walls Jr., your top 5. Gatlin Downey, Matthew Eaves, Jesse Turner, Larry Hagan, Alex Peters, your top 10. Cobbs 11th, Monaco 13th. Meanwhile, on Jack on back, all came down to top off. Riley Spurley-Tube out of the race with a suspension issue. The 46 of Alex Fletcher out with a clutch issue. And Colton Lane, Brad Stover, Colton Yo were out from a prior caution. And Spurley-Tube was going to restart 12th. He is now out of this one. And that is going to make the Sauber Racing team pretty much starting this chase on the back foot and having to really climb in these final few races. Patrick Smith, though, leads the field down. This will be interesting to see. Has no new tires, no fuel in the truck to make it to the end. So we'll see what Smith will do. Coming down through turn number 4. Coming back to take the green flag. Patrick Smith, Johnson, Bright, Butcher, and Stephen Walls Jr., your top 5. Green flags back in the air, and we're racing once again at IRP, and they are going to make short work of Patrick Smith jumping right to the inside of that number 94, and that will pretty much send Patrick out of the race lead immediately as Johnson goes up, smashes that outside wall, pushing way too hard in the 77. Butcher and Stephen Walls Jr. making some contact there, might have made some contact getting into the corner. Looking at the very back, there's Antoine Smith and Onjak now have to fight their way through a bunch of slower trucks. There's Eaves working to the inside of Downey. Bright's going to clear into second. Patrick Smith now real slow in that 94, taking a ton of time as Eaves is going to jump to the inside there. Look at Daniel Cobbs and look at Alex Peters in the 45. He's going to Shade Burkhardt Racing next season in the Cup Series, but he could still win a race as Austin Johnson's on pit road for that 77 truck. Johnson's on pit road, probably repairing that damage now that he's just slammed the outside wall with, and that is going to take him out of the chase. Pretty much, he's 10th entering this. That's going to cost him big time, and that hands the race lead over to Eli Bright, who was leading at Richmond last week. And if Bright could win this race, that could be a feel-good story right there as Eaves has made his way up to 4th. Gatlin Downey looking for 5th. Look at Larry Hagan. He could take 6th if we're talking about without Patrick Smith in the mix as he's dropping to the back quickly. Alex Peters, as soon as he gets by the 94, is up to 7th. And Cobbs and Monaco would be fighting just outside the top 10. But it doesn't really matter with Eaves up in 4th in that 48 truck. And we saw at Richmond, he climbed from 29th to the race lead and passed Bright in the closing laps for the race win. We'll see if he'll do that again this time. But Ryan Butcher is the one hunting down Eli. Butcher's one win that gave him a shot at the chase was at Nashville on a fuel strategy call. He has not won a race really on pace this season and has not really had the pace to win a race this season. He's been solidly top 5, top 10 sometimes, but this BGM team is nothing like it was in previous years in the Crown Royal Truck Series. He was consistently in the points until Chicagoland, had some pretty bad runs there, and now he's hunting Eli Bright down for what could be a chance at a race win and a chance to gain a ton of points on Eaves as Bright goes up the track. He's trying to hang on. Bright's going to get a piece of the wall there, pushing way too hard. So will Matthew Eaves, and that'll give Ryan Butcher a chance to take this lead away. As we saw, Austin Johnson was just ahead of these guys. There is Johnson, and it's going to be Ryan Butcher now taking the race lead away. Eaves also pancaked the wall. That allowed Downey up to 4th. Hagan in 6th, Alex Peters 7th, Aiden Smith 8th, Turner 9th as Cobbs and Monaco are going to be fighting for that top 10 spot as Patrick Smith is dropping that 94 through the field, but that's probably the only way he was going to have any time for some track position. There's Charles Sand for 15th, Perez is 18th, and there is Onjak. He pits, so if these guys don't make it to the end of this race, Onjak might be able to for pitting late. Antoine Smith as well, he's 24th back there. The rest of the field fighting, but now Eli Bright's hunting right back up on the 17 of Butcher as Hagan has taken the 5th position away from Matthew Eaves, so that's helping Butcher and Stephen Walls Jr. a lot. 6th and 7th in points. Butcher sits 33 back from Eaves, Stephen Walls Jr. 44 back. But as it runs, if Butcher wins this race and gets the most laps led bonus, he'd pick up about 10 spots on that and bring it down to about 20-some points between him and Eaves, which would be big. And Stephen Wallace Jr. would be about 35 back, I'd say. If he comes home third, Eaves in 6th. But Eaves hasn't really shown much pace, and he's losing time to the 19-25. Has a little bit of right side damage in that 48 truck. And with Alex Peters now hunting him down, the fastest Ford this season, the only Ford in the chase in any series. This could be a big day for Alex Peters there if he can get himself past the 48, picking up some spots. And Kobza and Monaco. Monaco started this race 40th after failing post-qualifying inspection. Would have started at the back anyway, had a poor qualifying run. He's already inside the top 10, fighting now teammate Jesse Turner. You got all the Anj Auto guys under a blanket here with Alex Fletcher out of this one. And now that's the battle for the 10th position. Monaco wants any points he can to minimize the impact there. As John Dilks down pit road. Dilks has some front end damage from an earlier crash. He might be trying to repair that. And there you see Austin Johnson as the top 3 has sandwiched back together with Butcher, Bright, and Stephen Wallace Jr. up in front. These are 3 real underdogs in the NSDCA. Butcher has a lot of wins, but they're really sparse and come at very weird times. Eli Bright has just had a struggle of a season in Cup Series. In the trucks, he's been doing pretty well, but still missed the chase after a 3-win season last year and the regular season title. And Stephen Wallace Jr. has 2 career wins, both at South Boston. He's trying to change that today if he can win at a different short track, but definitely this short track does race like South Boston. It's a small track, and it's very hard to pass. You got to time your moves to make it happen, and that's how SWJ has won 2 races at South Boston before. Is Bright and Butcher going at it? I thought that was the pace truck coming back out. That's John Dilks, as we got a battle for the race lead heating up. And that's going to be Eli Bright as we come to the halfway point, or past the halfway point. Stephen Wallace Jr. getting that nose down to the inside of the 8, trying to make it happen. Butcher on the outside. Drag race to the line. Don't know who led that lap. It will go to Butcher, and that has brought Gatlin Downey into the mix with this top 3 fighting. Larry Hagan might be up here as well, but Bright's going to clear the 17, give the race lead back to the TSR8 of Eli Bright. And SWJ trying to follow through as now John Dilks is a lap truck up here. Just because it's a lap truck doesn't mean it's going to be easy to pass. So we'll see what Bright can do about Dilks. He has damage in the 71 as well. Just came off pit road, so might have fresher tires in the 71 as well. And has the preferred line. Really pushing Bright down. One truck spinning on the back. That's Vince Freeze in the 60 as he comes back up onto the track. I don't know if we're under caution for that, as Bright and Stephen Wallace Jr. are going at it. There is no caution for it, so Freeze is good. The top 4, though, stuck behind 2 lap trucks that are not given an inch here. And the top 4 are under a blanket. That's bringing now Downey getting by Butcher. That's brought Hagan and Eaves back into this. There's Kobza right there. And there's Onjak already back up to 15th. Antoine Smith working his way back into the top 20. And now we got a battle for the lead with the lap trucks not giving an inch to any of these guys. We'll see how these top 4 will be able to maneuver past them. But Freeze isn't giving them anything there in the 60. Neither is the 71. And they really just need to get out of the way. There's no blue flags in the NSDCA, unlike series like Formula 1 and IndyCar. But really at this point there should be with how these guys race like this. Some of the lap cars influencing decisions. But now Bright pushing Freeze past, trying to get Dilks past. Dilks fights back on the outside. John Dilks doesn't want to lose more laps down. He's fighting for the lucky dog right now, because if he stayed in front of the race leaders, he'd be 2 laps down, but would get the lucky dog. Meanwhile, Vince Freeze is trying to stay on the lead lap, so he's fighting that for a reason. There's Gatlin Downey, never won an NSDCA race, 6-year veteran of the series, but has never gone to victory lane, has driven mostly for RER and GDI most of his career, so you can see why. But these leaders are not getting help at all from the lap traffic as Alex Peters pushes it into the outside wall back there. That's going to allow Aiden Smith to sneak by. And the top 6 is back under a blanket as they're finally trying to get rid of John Dilks. Almost got there, and Brady's going to have to send it into 1, I think. But if he can clear Dilks, that'll be big. Now, he and Stephen Wallace Jr. both trying to, and he will. Bright will clear the 71. SWJ not yet, as Alex Peters fights right back to the top and past Aiden Smith. That outside wall not affecting him at all. There's Butcher now with Eaves right in front of him, and Bright's going to pull back away. We're coming around 32 laps to go here at IRP. SWJ, Gatlin Downey, 2 big underdogs in the series, looking for that second position as they fight. Downey's really had a good truck this season. Could have pointed his way into the chase. Did not happen, as he is in this 19 truck next year as well in the Crown Royal Truck Series. Bright has now pulled away. Butcher all over the back of Downey, and that's going to be some contact there. You see the 19 slow up. That is big there as Dilks goes back to the bottom of Bright, still fighting to stay just 2 laps down and keep that free pass as he is pushing hard on Eli. I would not want to do that. If you crash the leader, you're getting parked at this point in the season, as SWJ is right now the current highest running Chase contender, looking to the outside of Dilks. Downey and Butcher fight for third. Here is Alex Peters now. This lap traffic has slowed down the field. The top 10 starting to merge back together, and Alex Peters is all over Matthew Eaves, but you got to remember, Peters' boss next season will be the 48 driver, Matthew Eaves, at Shade Burkhardt Racing. Probably don't want to crash him here, but still want to pick up some spots, because if Zachary Racing could steal a title, the only Ford able to win a championship this year, that would be big for Alex Peters in this 45 truck. Gatlin Downey fighting back to the outside of Stephen Wallace Jr. as John Dilks is still staying in the way of everyone. Vince Freeze not giving Bright any room here, but now Bright will look to the inside of him, looking for that top spot if he can get it. And lap the 60. That'll then put John Dilks out of the free pass position by a lap. Austin Johnson has pulled away from these guys. Wait, no, where is Austin? Oh, yeah, Johnson's making his way through some of the slower trucks at the back, so lap traffic is going to be on its way. There's Patrick Smith back to 21st. And we'll see how far this 94 can go. If Patrick can make it to lap 60, then pretty much the whole field should be good to make it to the end. Onjak's up to 13th. There's Perez. Antoine Smith back in 20th. Eaves has gotten by the 25. Downey still fighting SWJ as Dilks will not get out of the way of anyone. He might have fresher tires, but that doesn't give him the right 3 laps down. Now I think in that 71. No, just 2 laps down. So Dilks, he's trying. If he unlaps himself from the 8 and a caution comes out, he'd be back on the lead lap with the Fago free pass. Right now, he's 2 laps down, and the free pass would just get him a lap ahead of Austin Johnson. As well, he has to worry about Vince Freeze going a lap down, because if Freeze or Cook Henson go a lap down, that costs Dilks everything, because Aiden Smith just drove it straight into the outside wall back there. That is going to be a ton of damage to the 83. Cobbs now looking to the inside of him. That is for the 8th position back there. Give a shout out to Jesse Turner, maintaining a top 10 run at a short track. Cobbs of Monaco also, as we said, they've climbed from outside the top 30 up into the near the top 10. So those two are having a great day, but it looks like their run is kind of stalled out here. Eaves now fighting, sitting right behind Butcher. There's Hagan and Alex Peters. Alex Peters going to get a big run on Larry, and a nice job by Larry. He's going to let that 45 go on ahead. Maybe he thinks that the 45 will be able to catch up to that 48 and pass him quicker. See how that goes. As SWJ almost into the back of Dilks. And these lappers are not letting these leaders have a fun time here, as Dilks is actually going to go to the outside of Bright, looking for that 1 lap back, trying to put himself back on the lead lap. But look at the train. You got the top 5 right behind Eli. And if they let the 71 by, that's going to just slow them up even more. But if these guys could start working their way past Dilks, it could help. Not going to happen there. 20 to go this 22 to go this time by, I should say, for Eli Bright and the Real Tree number 8. Look at the rest of the way through the grid. Antoine Smith slowly chopping away at these guys. If those front guys don't run out of fuel, that additional fuel strategy for the 00 is going to be all for naught. Perez now, Patrick Smith has pit. He pit before lap 60, meaning fuel is definitely going to be a question for all those guys that stayed out, as Bright is going to get past Freeze and Dilks. And now Eli Bright can set sail from the rest of the grid and try to win this race. But does he have enough fuel is the next question. 20 to go. And if the fuel window is less than 60 laps, then we're going to be seeing some guys possibly running out here at the end of this one. And that is going to benefit this man right here who has been flying as Matt Sladek bounces off the wall. Peter Onjak's up to 12th, 4 fresh tires. Well, everyone had fresh tires. He has like a lap or 2 fresher and extra fuel to make it to the end. So this could be the man right here sitting in the catbird seat if he could steal the win. But he might be able to just race up there and get the win. He's 4 seconds behind the race leaders who are being slowed down by lap traffic. And he's already in the 12th position after starting well outside the top 20. Peters Hagen fighting again. Cobbs Smith joining this battle. SWJ finally getting himself past John Dilks. Now looking for a move on Freeze. Freeze's tires should be heated up after that spin and damage to the 60, but he's still maintaining pace. Gatlin Downey back there in third in the 19. Ryan Butcher fourth. Eaves fifth. Hagen, Peters, Aiden Smith, Kobza, and Monaco your top 10 as Onjak's going to get by his driver Jesse Turner there. Or at least try to. This is for the 11th position on track between CFRO and Onja Auto. Turner maintaining on that outside line. Down into 1 and 2. 17 to go this time by here at Indy. Dilks has gotten a reputation in the garage for being hard to pass, especially as a lapper, but geez, he is not given an inch to anyone. Eli Bright must have some allies in the garage area because he's now set sail in that 8 truck. And he's looking for his final win of his career, possibly, if he can get it today, as he retires in just 4 weeks' time from the Crown Royal Truck Series in the NSDCA. Stephen Wallace Jr. real close to Dilks there. Butcher into third. That's good for both of them. But Eaves now fourth is not good because you're not gaining too many points on him. We'll see if the 48 can sneak his way back through this field as Alex Peters looking to the inside of Gatlin Downey, seeing if the Fords will work together back here. Cobbs and Monaco also there. There's Onjak. He's kind of stalled out behind his boys, but as we've said before, I think Onjak's the type of owner that he wants to see his drivers at Onja Auto fight him tooth and nail for every position. Because if you race the boss man like that, how are you racing everyone else? That goes to show a lot. Patrick Smith on much fresher tires than the field. They better just let him by because he's going to be flying up there on those fresh tires. You see Onjak give him the outside lane. Eaves now fighting Butcher for that third spot. SWJ trying to get by Freeze now as Dilks is still in this. And Bright has worked his way past now, lapping Mike Cook and Rose Henson. So these lappers better stop fighting. Dilks has no shot at getting the free pass now. And probably not Freeze either. Eaves is up to third, and just like in Richmond, he came alive at the end and snuck by and won this race. We'll see if he can do that again. Or will this be similar to Nashville, where the caution came out, everyone started running out at the end, and it's going to be a strategy race winner because it would have been Peter Onjak. It is Peter Onjak right now that could win this race in that 97. But really, if everyone runs out of fuel, no one can make it to the end. What about Patrick Smith sneaking a win today? Be kind of hard as they run as you see SWJ's finally trying to get by Vince Freeze. Eaves is going to dive to the inside of Dilks and watch Dilks just give him that spot, and he pretty much does behind Freeze. Now SWJ will clear into second and set sail from the lap traffic, but he has more just in front of him, and Henson, Cook, you got Vargas and Reed back there. These are some slower trucks, so it might be easier for those guys to get by the faster vehicles of the 71 and 60 in comparison. There is Fitzwater, 27th after starting 14th. At least he's not last, and at least he could finish this race still, as Eli Bright has only 11 laps to go before he takes what could be his final NSDCA victory. There's Stephen Wallace Jr. clear into second. Eaves third, now fighting Butcher, Downey, Hagen, Aiden Smith all up here. Aiden Smith should be a Chase contender. He was the first one eliminated with Ryan Butcher falling out of the top 10 in points. Alex Peters. There's Alex Peters. Matt Sladek now getting up to Monaco, pushing him wide. Where is Antoine Smith? Only 17th, so Smith is pulled away from the rest of this field, but he has not really been picking spots up. And there you see Eli. If the fuel lasts, he's got this thing in the bag, I think. This goes green to the end as you got the lappers fighting in front of SWJ here. He makes a sort of quick work of Mike Cook. Freeze is holding up Eaves for all he's got. There you see Butcher in fourth, Downey fifth, Aiden Smith now up to sixth. As Patrick Smith is pushing everyone. Again, fresher tires on the 94, about 30 lap fresher tires on the 94 than everyone, but he is 2 laps down. Onjak still fighting his guys, and Turner, Monaco, and Kobza back there as Eaves will finally get by Vince Freeze and will clear. So Eaves will take that spot away. And into the closing laps. It's a 4-second gap now with all the lap traffic here at IRP. It's Eli Bright who's looking like it's his turn to get back into victory lane. He won 3 races last season en route to a regular season title. Ended up missing the championship fight. I don't think he was even a factor at Kansas after a poor Chase run. missed the chase this year, announced his retirement back in April. He'll be joining another list of drivers that are also retiring at the end of the season. Logan Bradley in the 57. He's currently 23rd in this race. He's not too far ahead. You see him exiting the bottom of the screen there in the Swan Communications 57. Don't think he's going to sneak a win unless Talladega turns good for him, but 6 to go, 5 to go this time by. And one truck's down pit road. That's Roger Ray in the 84. And that's a bad sign for everyone as Sanford's also down. Mike Cook's down. So we are at the edge of a fuel window. Fitzwater came down pit road. Lappers are coming down. Priya McShane's coming down. So this is benefiting now. Onjak, Antoine Smith are sitting there smiling because this could be their race to lose at this point. Bright's got to be saving now. He's got to save. The ACSWJ in second. Henson's bringing it down pit road. Patrick Smith's working his way through quick. Cobbs is coming down, so that's a chase contender. Daniel Cobbs in. He wouldn't be pitting if he didn't think he was going to run out. Perez now fighting Onjak. I think Perez also came down pit road, so that could be a battle for the win right there, depending on how this shakes out. But Bright is staying out in that 8 truck. Many others are coming on in. And we're coming down 3 to go this time by. Can Eli Bright win it in the 8 truck? SWJ still out. He gained some fighting as those guys fight through the lap traffic. Eaves is still out there, though he's getting pushed by a lot of drivers as we come on through. 2 laps to go for Eli. Does the fuel last on the 8 truck? Matthew Brown all over the back of him. 2 to go at IRP. The race ends under caution if so he might be wanting a yellow flag to end this race as well. A lot of trucks have come down pit road here at the end. If he doesn't come down this time, he's not coming. And he isn't. Into 3 and 4, coming around for the final time is Eli Bright. More trucks down pit road. Aiden Smith, Zach Rogers, Sebastian Kukulon. The white flag is in the air for Eli Bright in what could be his final career win if it can come out of 4 with it. He's coming out of turn number 2. It's been a hard season for him in the Trucks and the Cup Series. He missed the chase in both, has had an abysmal career in the Cup so far, but a light spot at the end. He almost won Richmond last week. It didn't go for him, but it'll go for him today. Eli Bright, 5th career win. He's going to take it at IRP. Ryan Butcher's going to steal 3rd away from Matthew Eaves at the end. Who else came down pit road? Onjak's going to come out 7th. Antoine Smith 10th. Alex Peters 9th. Austin Johnson's going to end this 32nd in the 77. But Eli Bright, his final season in the NSDCA. And it's going to come out with a race victory at IRP, besting and spoiling the playoffs or the chase for a lot of drivers. Eaves is going to come home P4. Perez actually 22nd, so Perez came down pit road. Daniel Cobbs is screwed over there at the end. Antoine Smith still recovers to a top 10. Riley Spurleytube, I think his championship hopes are done in that 28 truck. He ends this race 36th, just 1 point. So with that, we will roll into an off week for the trucks and pick back up with the final 4 races of the season. The Cup Series goes to Memphis tomorrow to decide their 3rd race of their chase for the Sun Drop Cup. It is Eli Bright sneaking out and winning in the 8 truck. A fantastic opportunity for him to get one more victory before hanging up his helmet. Stephen Wallace Jr. comes home 2nd, Butcher 3rd. Eaves 4th, so really SWJ and Butcher are going to climb just a little bit up on Eaves. I think 4 and 2 points respectively between those two. So they're still within a race of Eaves. They still have a shot at it as they go through this race. But coming down, and that will be the end of this one here at IRP. Eli Bright wins the Kroger 300 Cup Series out at Memphis next time on the NSDCA. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.